everyone. I'm Mercury Payton, and this is On Deck with Mercury. And so I'm happy to be here with you all to talk about the winter weather that's coming up and approaching, as well as emergency preparedness. And so we have with us today our Police Chief, Jim Morris. Hi, Jim. How are you?
Hey, Mercury. Doing well, thank you.
Good, good. And our Acting Public Works Director, Christine Horner. Hi, how are you?
Good, Mercury. Thank you.
Good. And then we have our Operations Superintendent, Jonathan Wooten.
Yes, sir. How you doing today?
Doing
Thanks
fantastic. Thank you for spending time here with us today. So we're all hearing about the winter weather approaching, and depending on whether or not you listen to the Farmer's Almanac or whatever about all the different amounts of snow we're supposed to get and sleet and all those types of things. This is a good time of year to be talking about it. And the last couple of years, we haven't gotten too much snow, not like we did in 2010. I think we all remember that. And back-to-back blizzards are really rare for our area. But maybe, Chief, we can start with you. Maybe you can talk with us a little bit about how we coordinate responses when it comes to this type of weather we're talking about here.
Sure. That's a lot of what this room we're sitting in is all about. It's used as a local emergency operations center so that all the departments can come in here all at the same time and respond to, like you talked about, snow, a significant snow emergency. Mm-hmm. We'd have all the departments in here, we'd be sitting down, we'd be talking through what's going on, everything from how streets are being plowed, how's Jonathan doing, does he need any more help, any road closures we're seeing, and we manage it all through here. We practice that operation several times a year as we come in and we have training in this room, so everyone that comes in during an emergency knows their role and what's going on. We use it for snow, we might use it for Viva Vienna, or other local-based events where we need all the departments to be part of it.
That's fantastic. And the public works staff, they're responsible for snow removal and do a lot of that heavy lifting. You see what I did there? Heavy lifting, snow. And so maybe Christine, talk a little bit about what goes into preparing for the winter weather each year.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a very busy and important time of year for us in preparation. We make sure all of our equipment is up and running, is functioning the way we need it to function. We spend a lot of time training this time of year as well, so our staff is prepared on that equipment. And one of the other things we do is make sure we have enough of the materials we need. So whether it's salt or whatever it is that we need, that we have enough of it.
That's really, really important to have to treat the roads there. Mm-hmm. And Jonathan, you oversee the operations during the snow event, so you're like right there on the front lines there. Maybe talk a little bit about how it's all coordinated and how it works together.
Well, we kind of, as we start looking at the forecast 7-10 days out. Of course, it could be very vague or very specific depending on the size of the storm. As we get closer and 2 or 3 days out and certain aspects of the storm become more clear, it kind of shapes it to what we do as far as anti-ice and salt brine. If people are used to seeing little white stripes running down the street. Conditions have to be a certain way for us to do that. You're not always going to see it if they're calling for it to start as rain and then switch over to snow, because you're just washing away material. Again, conditions have to be a certain way, so we take all those things into factors. Talking with my supervisors, my crew leaders, getting staffing ready to come in, if we think it's going to be a short storm or a longer storm, whether we're going to be in 12-hour shifts or one of those that we think we can handle at one time. All those things are into consideration as far as trying to get the traveling public safely around.
I'm sure.
For lack of a better word. So, it's a lot, but we've been doing it. We're pretty good here. The town's been decent, got good leadership, which helps us move things along. So,
well, we'll appreciate that. And just real quickly, we always affectionately call the Deputy Chief Weatherman Dan. Yep. But should we talk to you? I mean, do you know what snow's coming better than Weatherman Dan?
I'm not going to say I'm any better than anything else.
Okay, all right.
So a lot of it is gut feeling and stuff. You go out and smell the air like, ooh, smells like a lot of snow coming.
There we go.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to talk to him instead of Weatherman Dan.
We can loop him in.
We can loop him in. That's right. That's right. So when it comes to pre-treating the roads, we just talked about that, and deploying snow plows and what goes into the methodology and like, okay, snow plows here but not there? How do you formulating your teams and all those types of things?
Oh, well, first of all, I don't like to correct people, but I want to make sure it's right. We don't pre-treat, we anti-ice.
Anti-ice, okay.
Very specific difference in the industry. We anti-ice. Okay. But no, it's going to be based upon the amount that they're calling for, the duration. Temperature is huge. Snow at 32 degrees is different than snow at 18.
Right.
You know, so I mean, all of those things are factors into how we do things. And again, sometimes we can get away with just anti-icing pre-treating, or excuse me, anti-icing, and then just using some salt. And then there's times where we have to just upgrade to plowing because we know we're not going to keep up with, you know, just salt applications.
Yeah.
So,
Now some residents may want to, you know, how much can snow plows get to in 1 hour? So they may think that, and I'm thinking, well, if it's a wet snow or if it's a dry snow or whatever, or how much the wind's blowing, do all those things come into play when it comes to like how much you can actually plow in a particular hour, or is there a standard?
Yeah, to a certain degree, but it's more of duration of the storm, because obviously, you know, lane miles per hour, it's relative. There's a safety standard we have to hope, you know, stay at, because we don't want to be speeding, don't want to be causing problems, tearing up stuff. We have to be able to do it safely, you know, and still get the job done. So, I mean, per hour snow removal, it's just an ongoing, steady thing. Obviously, the more snow that comes down per hour, the longer it's going to take for us to get to your local streets, because we always do our primaries and secondaries and so on and so on.
Right, right. I think we have almost 64 miles of roadway to clear each year whenever we have snow. That's a lot to manage. Is there anything in particular that residents can do to help you through the process of snow removal?
For us, it's like they always say in every weather emergency, the more you can stay home, the better it's going to help us. Less traffic on the roads, less hazards, less pedestrians. Anything that's going to, you know, just help our process. Parking in your driveway if available, so that we can widen the roads out as far as possible, so there isn't any, in the larger storms, buildup of snow as we're maneuvering around things. It's the basics, you know. Do your best to stay home unless it's an emergency. It's safer for everybody, us, the emergency responders, police, fire, ambulance, you know.
Right.
So
snow removal is just not with roadways, but there's some shoveling of snow as well. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that. How does that all work with our teams?
Sure. So we're fortunate to have a comprehensive team. So it's Public Works, Parks and Rec, work with the police, and we end up we do shovel snow. It usually follows the primary routes that Jonathan was talking about in the secondaries. We also do town parking lots, so town hall, our facilities, and again, that's usually after we're able to get the roads safely clear.
Okay, excellent. And Chief, you know, when we talk about the seasoned public works and public safety veterans we have to address all these winter weather events, is there any kind of preparedness recommendations you have? You know, we just heard from the public works team, but any recommendations you have?
Sure. It's the normal, just preparing for winter weather and thinking about what could go on. Certainly, and it's happened to folks, you know, a couple times a year you lose power, you might not be able to get out, you might not be able to get to the store. So you should take those things into account and develop some type of emergency kit. If you have medication, make sure you have a supply of medication. Make sure you have food that you can use. Make sure you have water, perishables, things that you can use during an emergency. And you know, like I said, it's usually power or can't get out of the house. If you go on the FEMA website, they have a whole list of checklist of things to get, recommendations, ideas. They even have training programs. You can go online and do online training through FEMA just to prepare yourself and your family.
That's really some good advice for everyone to hear. And so what's that website again? You said FEMA?
FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency. If you just Google that, they have a lot of great information. And like I said, even down to online training if you're really into that.
That's fantastic. So I really appreciate you all kind of spending time to talk about snow preparedness. Is there anything that, as we kind of close out here, that's really good, residents need to really know this, one last piece of information maybe any of you all have?
I would just say tune into the town, stay connected with the town, because we usually do push the information out. We push out, a lot of times we'll push out the plowing status, if a road is closed, because in addition to the snow, we have trees down. So there might be roads closed, the town might be closed.
Right.
So I'd say stay plugged into the town for information on current conditions and what you can expect.
Sure. What if a resident is wondering when they're going to get to their street? How do we handle that?
Yeah.
Well, facts are we will get there as soon as we possibly can. I know, a lot of times people think, oh, well, quit snowing, the sun's out, they should be here. But, we kind of running a process so that we get everything done. We will get there as soon as can. We work, when we go to those shifts, we work until we're done.
Right.
12 on. Well, we're running 24 hours a day with 2 different shifts. So it's not that we're skipping you on purpose. It's just the way that, we're working for it. We will get there.
And that's a good point, because we don't want to rush through it, because we want to make sure that we do it safely and we do it well. And we also want to make sure that, our employees are working those 12 long-hour shifts. So we want to make sure that they're taking their time and doing it the right way. So that's a good point as well. What happens if, this rarely happens, but what if we kind of bump into something, or, some private property, that type of thing? What should a resident do if that occurs?
Those things happen. It's fact of when you're out there like that. What we try to make, we've got our procedures for here in town: stop, contact. We get as much information. We file a police report. Hopefully nobody's hurt. That's first and foremost. And from there, we do what we can, and hopefully if it's not too bad, we just move on, keep it moving. It happens, unfortunately. It's not on purpose, Bad road conditions for a regular driver is also bad road conditions for a plow truck driver. I've slid into many a ditch, not on purpose, but it happens. So, we'll fill out the reports and get all the proper information to the proper people. Our HR department handles those. But we'll get a police report and try to make sure everybody gets taken care of.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. And, when we have activities at the community center or town council meetings, and if they need to be canceled, I think residents probably should look at the website to see, if we're going to be canceling something. Safety is going to be coming first. So, if we have to close for a day or two or something like that, we certainly will do that. I'll check in with, not Weatherman Dan, but I'll check in with Jonathan here and make sure that we get the information and close when we need to and open right back up. But it's normally not for too long. I can't remember a time where we've closed for more than a day, as far as, operations, for town hall, and if you pay your water bill. That's another thing too, is that if we do close and your water bill is due that day, we will typically say we'll extend that deadline, and other deadlines like that will extend it an additional day or two.
Yes.
Within reason.
Speaking of closing and safety, along with that, our sanitation departments, we make those calls based upon how well we can get the trucks around, and those guys can move on and off the trucks to pick up that stuff. So a missed trash, it's terrible, but it's not the end of the world. We'll get it as soon as possible, whether it be the next day or the next week, but it will be gotten.
Right. And that's an excellent point, because the same crews that are doing the snow removal are the same crews that are doing the sanitation removal. And if they're doing 12 on and 12 off, there's a safety component as well, as far as them working those hours to push snow and then do sanitation. So we have to take that into consideration as well when it comes to doing that. Right. Well, thank you all very, very much. I really appreciate it. Hope you all have a wonderful winter season full of snow and snow sledding, and or maybe not.
Snow sledding, maybe. Somewhere else.
Somewhere else. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of On Deck with Mercury. We hope that you have an enjoyable winter season, and stop by and see us at Town Hall. And when you see us around, wave and say hello. And again, I hope that you have a wonderful holiday season. Take care.